the CEO of Price Chopper Employees Federal Credit Union in Schenectady, New York. Price Chopper has over 6,500 members with assets of over $16 million. Ms. Donovan is testifying on behalf of the National Association of Federal Credit Unions. The Association of Federal Credit Unions was founded in 1967 to shape the laws under which federal credit unions operate. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Velasquez, Ranking Member Graves, and members of the committee. My name is Donovan, and I am testifying today on behalf of the National Association of Federal Credit Unions, NAFCU. I serve as the President and CEO of Price Chopper Employees Federal Credit Union, which is headquartered in Schenectady, New York. Our credit union has 7 employees, approximately 4,500 members, in 6 states, and just over $19 million in assets. NAFCU and the entire credit union community appreciate the opportunity to participate in this discussion regarding financial regulatory restructuring and its impact on America's credit unions. It is widely recognized that credit unions did not cause the current economic downturn. However, we believe we can be an important part of the solution. Credit unions have fared well in the current economic environment, and as a result, many have capital available. Surveys of NAFCU member credit unions have shown that many are seeing increased demand for mortgage and auto loans as other lenders leave the market. Additionally, a number of small businesses who have lost important lines of credit from other lenders are turning to credit unions for the capital that they need. Our nation's credit unions stand ready to help in this time of crisis, and unlike other institutions, have the assets to do so. Unfortunately, an antiquated and arbitrary member business lending cap prevents credit unions from doing more for America's small business community. It is with this in mind that NAFCU strongly supports the passage of H.R. 3380, the Promoting Lending to America's Small Business Act of 2009. This important piece of legislation would raise the member business lending cap to 25% of assets, while also allowing credit unions to supply much-needed capital to underserved areas, which have been among the hardest hit during the current economic downturn. NAFCU also strongly supports the reintroduction of the Credit Union Small Business Lending Act, which was first introduced by Chair Velasquez in the 110th Congress. As the current Congress and administration mull regulatory reform, NAFCU believes that the current regulatory structure for credit unions has served the 92 million American credit union members well. As not-for-profit, member-owned cooperatives, credit unions are unique institutions in the financial services arena and make up only a small piece of the overall financial services pie. We believe that NCUA should remain the independent regulator of credit unions and are pleased to see that the administration's proposal would maintain this independence as well as the Federal Credit Union Charter. NAFCU also believes the proposal is well-intentioned in its effort to protect consumers from the predatory practices that led to the current crisis. We feel there have been many unregulated bad actors pushing predatory products onto consumers, and we applaud efforts to address this abuse. It is with this in mind that we can support the creation of a Consumer Financial Protection Agency, CFPA, which would have authority over non-regulated institutions that operate in the financial services marketplace. However, NAFCU does not believe such an agency should be given authority over regulated, federally insured depository institutions, and opposes extending this authority to credit unions. As the only not-for-profit institutions that would be subject to the CFPA, credit unions would stand to get lost in the enormity of the proposed agency. Given the CFPA the authority to regulate, examine, and supervise credit unions already regulated by the NCUA, would add an additional regulatory burden and cost to credit unions. Additionally, it could lead to situations where institutions regulated by one agency for safety and soundness find their guidance in conflict with the regulator for consumer issues. Such a conflict and burden will surely result in diminished services to credit union members. Credit unions already fund the budget for the NCUA. As not-for-profits, credit unions cannot raise money from stock sales or capital markets. This money comes from their members' deposits, meaning credit union members would disproportionately feel the cost burden of a new agency. However, NAFCU also recognizes that more should be done to help consumers and look out for their interests. We would propose that, rather than extending the CFPA to federally insured depository institutions, each functional regulator create a new or strengthened office on consumer protection. We are pleased to see the NCUA recently announced its intention to create such an office. Consumer protection offices at the functional regulators will ensure those regulating consumer issues have knowledge of the institutions they are examining and guidance on consumer protection. This is particularly important to credit unions as they are regulated and structured differently from others. We believe such an approach would strengthen consumer protection while not adding unnecessary regulatory burden. Part of avoiding that burden will be to maintain a level of federal preemption so small institutions like mine, who have members in several states, aren't overburdened by a wide variety of state laws. In conclusion, while there are positive aspects to consumer protection and regulatory reform, we believe federal credit unions continue to warrant an independent regulator handling both safety and soundness and consumer protection matters. I thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today on behalf of NAFCU and would welcome any questions that you may have.